It's time for another reaction video. Haven't done one of these for a while. This one's gonna be fun. Let's get into it.
And we used a condom, right?
I don't think so.
Oh shit, we didn't.
No.
Oh,
That's one of the reasons
That's
why
where
you
the
were
arguing
upset.
came from. Mm-hmm.
That's so weird. It all just hit me.
always use a Johnny on a one-night stand. You don't know the person. Damn.
My name's Cody. I had a one-night stand with Madison.
My name is Madison. I had a one-night stand with Cody.
How long ago was this?
It probably happened 5 years ago.
How did you know Cody?
Cody was introduced to me by a mutual friend. I thought he was super cute, so I was willing to go on a date with him.
You know, we were more friends. We had hung out a few times, but she was definitely hesitant
She
about
friend-zoned him.
going anywhere further than friends. And we had never done anything either, so.
Yeah.
We definitely kissed.
How did it all happen? How did it start?
One night, she invited me over for some drinks.
I vaguely remember maybe watching a movie with him in my bed.
Did you guys drink?
I honestly can't remember at all.
We were drinking vodka, if I remember right.
Can't remember at all. First red flag. He can remember having drinks. She can't remember. That, I don't know what that says about the situation, but I can hear the court proceeding right now.
We had gone to her room, and then I think I had kissed her a little bit, and we were laying on the bed.
Like the actual initiation of sex was kind of weird.
And I think that she got a little upset, and she said that she didn't want to have sex, and she just wanted to hang out.
I had talked about not being sure that I wanted to continue and him really wanting to, and I don't know, I was so on the fence about it.
I understood the way she felt, and I didn't want to push anything if she didn't want to do it.
And then what happened?
A little later,
Okay, so any guys out there, if you're in a situation with a girl and she expresses to you that she doesn't really know, just for the whole evening, just take that as a no, okay? And personally, I'd even say maybe hang out, but don't try and stay the night. Don't even stay the night, okay? Because if you know that you're gonna be turned on by her and be tempted by her, because as guys, it's natural, especially if you're laying in bed with a woman you're attracted to, just bounce, man. Be like, cool, had fun hanging out, but I'm gonna stay at mine. Done.
the way she felt, and I didn't want to push anything if she didn't want
Yeah,
to do
don't push
it.
anything.
And then what happened?
A little later, I may have initiated kissing. She seemed into it. Everything was good.
And then you said, I want to have sex?
So yeah, so I definitely said that I was going to have sex with him. Like I said that I wanted to. I just was having a lot of nervousness. It was just kind of a weird mix of emotions all at once, and I didn't really have a good idea of how
Okay,
to
so
be a
she
good
changed her mind.
communicator
That's
when
all right.
it came to like sexual desires.
What do you remember her body looking like?
Oh,
Don't describe
she
her body,
has,
come on.
definitely has an amazing body.
I was really insecure. I've always had body dysmorphic issues where I always think that I'm heavier than I really am, so I think that was playing into everything as well.
Did you use protection?
We used protection, I do remember that. I feel like it was something weird, like a cherry-flavored condom or something like that.
I don't think that we used protection. He wasn't really wanting to, and that was definitely a factor of like my nervousness as well.
How long did it last?
It had lasted quite a while.
10 minutes.
We had started out in
It lasted quite a while.
It's about 10 minutes.
Dead. Dead.
missionary, moved to several different positions.
I do distinctly remember this part about halfway through into the sex. I just started to have this anxiety and panic and kind of weirdness. And in the middle of sex, when I get that way mentally, I start to disassociate. And I don't know that it was all that enjoyable for either of us.
I actually don't remember a lot.
Right. I think this is such an issue because she was in a position where she'd started having sex with a guy who she knew wanted to have sex with her. And it sounds like from what she just said that she wanted to change her mind, and it sounds like she didn't change her mind because of how she was feeling. I've always said this because I have female friends as well who, you know, especially on like one night stands as well, where maybe they felt they wanted to change their mind in the moment, but felt that they couldn't because they didn't know how the guy's gonna react. One, this is why I'm against one night stands in general if you're looking for something serious, but two, as a woman, if you do not know the guy well enough that you feel that you trust him enough for you to change your mind in the moment, then that's gonna be okay. Do not put yourself in that position because she seems fine now, but if she's saying she felt a bit of anxiety and stuff in the moment and she didn't feel that she could say no, mainly because she didn't know him that well. I mean, I know they said they were friends, but like, it's not like a long partner that she felt comfortable to say no to. That could have a scarring effect. I cannot iterate enough, as a woman especially, if you don't know the guy well enough that you could change your mind in the moment and he would be okay, don't put yourself in that position. It is not worth it.
Of when we were having sex, I remember that it was good.
What was the aftermath? So you get up in the morning.
The next morning, everything seemed fine, but she didn't want to hang out again. And I said, well, why don't you want to hang out?
I texted him and I was mad at him for what it felt like in the moment that he had pressured me into having sex.
And I said, well, you said that earlier in the night, I understand. And then we started kissing in bed and then we had sex. And so there was never any, Cody, I don't want to do this later in the night. So I was definitely a little upset.
I just told him that.
So that's really interesting. What's really being showcased here is how men and women communicate differently. How men understand direct communication and women tend to communicate indirectly. Because I assume if he was a woman and this was a lesbian thing and she started to feel that way in the moment, I think it's likely the other woman would have picked up on that and been like, okay, you know what, I'm gonna lay off, should we stop? Now, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that guys shouldn't get better at reading those subtle cues, but at the same time, if she consented to it, which it was consensual, and then she changes her mind in the moment, and when you're passionate and you're kissing and stuff, if you want it to stop, there needs to be a level of communication, and we can't put the responsibility on the other person to know how we're feeling, especially if we don't communicate that. So guys need to do better in reading subtle signals. But at the same time, as ladies, not only should you only be doing that with a guy who you really trust, but if you want something to stop, say no. No means no, just say, I want this to stop. And I know plenty of girls who have done that and the guys have been fine. Let's carry on.
He was a dick for not taking into account that I wasn't sure that I wanted to have sex and I didn't want to see him again. And so I just cut ties and I never saw him again. Did
sleeping with her ruin your guys' relationship?
Yeah.
So I completely understand how she is feeling and why she would feel that way, because obviously we can hear both sides right now. I understand why he's confused, because he's none the wiser. He's like, oh, we had sex, you said you wanted to in the moment, we did, and now you don't want to hang out again. Then she should have just kicked him out. She should have. And I said this at the beginning of the video, guys, if a girl iterates that she's not sure, you should just not stay there, period, right? So it's on the guy to be like, you know what, I'm gonna go home, but also on the girl to be like, if I'm not sure, I don't want him to stay. And if she knows him well enough to be like, you know what, I would rather you not stay, or maybe you stay on the sofa or something, that's something that she should be able to do, as well as him saying, you know what, I'm gonna bounce too. We can't put the whole responsibility on the other person, because that's not fair. We have to take accountability as well.
If you could go back, would you have done things differently?
Yeah, I think I would have taken things slower and just tried to feel out the way she really felt instead of trying to rush in and have sex that night.
At least he learned from that and he's like, you know what? He could have done better to read those subtle cues, and he's taken that from that. Green tick, bro. Though, you should have been in a better place earlier, but green tick for now. Oh, now they're together. Oh, now they're lying together. Here we go.
Cody describes leading up to you guys having sex for the first time that you guys were friends that would hang out.
That's how I saw it. What did you think it was?
Shit.
I thought we were like seeing each other.
Whoa!
Oh.
I definitely didn't see you as my friend. Like, I don't have sleepovers with my male friends.
Okay, the night of sleeping with each other, how did that happen?
She had asked me to come over. We had a few drinks, and from what I remember, we had gone into the room, and then I think that I started kissing her and she got upset. And so we left the room and went back in, and
I don't remember that.
That's when we had sex. That's kind of what I remember.
Okay.
And we used a condom, right?
I don't think so.
Oh shit, we didn't.
No, because you didn't want to.
That's one of the reasons why
That's
you
where
were
the arguing
upset.
came from. Mm-hmm.
Holy shit. That's so weird. It all just hit me.
What do you remember me telling you after?
I remember you said that you weren't ready,
Yeah.
like to have sex.
Yeah.
But at the time, I didn't get that.
When you were initiating sex with me, there was a lot of like pullback that I wasn't 100% sure I wanted to do it, and you were definitely like into it and you were really pushing to have sex, and I was like, you know what, I really like this guy, and so I had sex with you, and I can start to like disassociate during sex, and that definitely happened when we were together. And being disassociative in that kind of action, I guess, or the environment of what was happening is such a weird kind of messed up feeling. And I think I just took all of that and associated like those.
So one thing I would say on that is I have empathy for how she feels, but she has an awareness of her mental emotional state when it comes to that. She says about disassociating. He could have done better in reading signals. It was consensual, but if she has that level of awareness, she has to take some accountability and responsibility of the experience that she didn't enjoy, because A, she did invite him over, right? Even though it doesn't necessarily mean to have sex, but B, she did consent to having that. And you know, sometimes we have different experiences with different people. We think the experience is gonna go one way and it goes a different way. And I know they're just expressing this, but one thing that is really important, that she doesn't say, hey, it was your job to know my mental state, etc.
And associated like those negative feelings with you, because I just didn't know how to process them, you know?
That makes sense.
It totally makes sense when you actually explain the whole thing. And it's hard to communicate when you've been drinking and stuff. I mean, at least effectively, so.
Yeah. Well, now that you say that we were drinking, it's kind of like, we probably shouldn't have done that.
Do you regret sleeping with me?
I mean, like,
That's a yes.
I
That's a
regret how
yes.
things went. There could have been a lot more listening on your part of like the signals that I was sending of like not being 100%. And then if I had communicated better, things would have ended like totally different.
I agree. I agree with what she had to say. I agree with that. That was good. He should have listened better with subtle cues, but she should have communicated better as well. The main thing that I think we need to take from this video is how men and women communicate differently. And when it comes to sex, especially as a woman, because you're the vulnerable one, I'm just saying, look, listen, lots of you are strong and independent. You're not afraid to speak up at work. You're not afraid to speak up at home. Don't be afraid to speak up in the bedroom, because if you're with a guy that you trust, he's gonna want that and he's gonna respect that. Tell me what you think about the video. Do you think it was completely on him and he should have totally read what was going on with her and, you know, it was his fault that a bad experience happened? Or do you think it was completely her? Or do you think it was a mutual thing where they both could have done better? And if you're intoxicated, that just makes things so hairy. Anyway, let me know what you think about the video. And as always, keep it slick. How?